starting at 9,000.
What does the scouter say about
Fact, would you be able to maybe auction off a sack of your father's compost? I'm sure that would get a few quid in.
Probably.
From his compost machine. Auction off what thing?
That thing that everybody asks me what is it, and I get sick of answering them that it's nothing in particular.
It's the magic rune that grants you immortality, yes?
Yeah, apparently it's also the station at the transport systems in the U.S.
Sorry?
Apparently it's also the symbol of the transport stations or something in the U.S.
Oh.
That sounds much less glamorous. It's made out of bone. I don't know. I bought it in Hawaii.
It's actually fairly funky.
I don't like it. I thought it was pretty good.
And my necklace is a little more. If anyone wonders why I jingle, I carry two things. One is a spare key for the car, and the other is a whistle.
On what occasions have you used the whistle?
None. But
on what occasions would you use it?
Of all the things that actually I used to wear these when I went on holiday, and then when I was in the cities, like I used to live in the city. Yeah, they work quite well at the dance clubs. But yeah, so it's of all the things that you can really regret not carrying, the whistle can be one of them. Usually if you can't breathe, you're really screwed in any event. So
yeah.
And the spare key for the car, which is now worn down.
You think it would even work now?
Oh, it'll work. It worked for me last night when...
You locked yourself out?
Well, no, I just didn't want to come back in here, but I had left the keys in here.
Oh.
I didn't want to come back in for the keys. But yeah, worn down metal. Which is better, metal or flesh? The metal has...
We regrow our flesh, that's the thing.
Yeah. So, yeah, I've got a few jingly things, but...
I mean, look, I've got some stuff that I could auction off, but, you get done for it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, what the guy said about, yeah, whistles good for spooking critters as well. So, and jingling works well.
I don't know how many videos you've been able to watch recently, Thunder, but did you manage to see Aaron Ra's latest, in which he discussed 5 facts about himself?
I don't think so.
You don't think so? Oh, well, you'd remember it if you did. I won't spoil it for you, but watch it later. It's one of his most entertaining. Not his most educational, but one of his most...
Is he a grandfather?
Oh, I'm allowed to mention something. That Andromeda's Wake has trying to arrange for the 12th of September. And I suspect that most people know, but if they don't, I know that Thunder will. Andromeda's knows Sir Patrick Moore, as in, you know who he is, Thunder, yeah?
Riding through the glen, Dennis.
Yeah. Sir Patrick may be willing to do a short video to be shown on the
Bravo! Good job,
which would be absolutely fantastic. If you can pull that off, Andromedas, that would be fantastic. Brilliant. Do the American audience know who Sir Patrick Moore is?
Not a clue. No clue at all. Yeah.
Thunder, would you like to explain whilst I go and find myself another tin of beer?
Sure. The Sky at Night is one of the longest running astronomy programs it's one of the longest running programs in the history of the BBC, and Patrick Moore's basically been doing it for the whole time, which means he's also, I think, the longest running host of the program. It's called the Sky at Night. I think it's on once a month. Yeah, there you go.
52 years, that's a fucking long running series.
Yeah, and he's a little eclectic, wears a monocle, and yeah, he makes a really entertaining presenter for astronomy, and it's amazing. There was one of these sort of synopses of how astronomy has changed since he's been doing it. And you scroll the clock back to, what was it, the 1950s that it said that he started this in?
Yeah, well, it's 52 years, so the 1960s, I think.
Yeah, 1960s. That's not quite prior to satellite technology, but it's getting pretty close. So, since then we've had the moon landings, we've had Hubble, and now we're getting into the technologies come on for the adaptive optics. So we're getting things like Magellan on the ground. And in orbit, one of these space telescopes, Andromeda will know much more about this than me, but it's basically an interferometer. It's an array of telescopes. But for this thing to work properly, they have to control the distance between these telescopes in space, in orbit, to nanometers. And this is, it is literally impossible. Well, yeah, I use that impossible as a sort of metaphor, but controlling these telescopes that, I don't know, maybe weigh a ton apiece, to that sort of precision in orbit is phenomenal.
So hold on. He hardly ever comes on.
Who?
So hold on.
Just going back to Sir Patrick Moore, Andromedus, who did a BlogTV program fairly recently, was talking about him. You're right, The Sky at Night is the longest running program on the BBC, and he's the longest serving sort of like consistent host on the BBC. But Andromedus was telling a very wonderful story about how Sir Patrick had actually met Einstein and played music with him, because Sir Patrick is quite a good musician. Apparently plays the piano, but I know him best for playing the xylophone. I've seen him do that on television, but apparently it wasn't recorded. But there are a few sort of like still photographs of him with Einstein. Am I right, Andromedus? Is that a fair summary?
If you could get him to tell that
I mean,
anecdote,
he's
Andromeda, if you could get him to tell that anecdote on camera, that would be
he's a
fantastic.
national hero in this country.
Oh.
Oh, there aren't any photos.
But nonetheless, the anecdote, if you could get the anecdote on camera, that would be super.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, me
Okay.
met Einstein in the same way that, yes,
Wilhelm met Einstein, right?
yeah, I met Einstein at the same time I met Nero.
Yep.
I believe everything that Andromeda says, so I'm sure he's not lying. But no, I mean, apparently he knows them. I mean, I know that they. I'm not sure at the moment, but they originate very close in the same area of the country. Certainly, he was at university not that far away from him. But when the tornadoes struck England, when Michael Fish famously said, "There's no storms coming." I think that Sir Patrick's observatory was one of the first things that was hit. A hurricane, okay, sorry, not a tornado.
Yeah, hurricane. Thank you, Theta. Good job. Yeah, so for everyone who doesn't know, it's one of these great failures. Britain is notoriously hard to predict weather. It's a temperate maritime climate.
Tornadoes is a bit of a far outreach, though.
Yeah, so basically the prediction had come in that there would be nothing but mild winds, and there was the hurricane basically came through.
It was Michael Fish, if you remember.
And
rightly.
it's one of those things that is recorded for posterity.
I remember a big
Famous.
news report coming out of Britain that was, or not famous, but it was last year. All the schools were all shut, snow warnings, blizzard warnings were coming in, businesses were closed down, and they had a picture of the snow on the roads. There's about that much snow or something like that. I'm thinking, you gotta be kidding me.
Would shut down England. Nah, I mean,
That's an average. That's average. That's so average for here.
Half a centimetre of snow will shut down London.
So that's something much. I mean, you could see the ground through it.
Yeah.
It's like, you've got to be kidding me.
When you get into the middle of continents, your perception of what's a lot of snow changes. Just so you know, Ithaca, Oh, no, it's great for Syracuse. Syracuse, I think, has 12 feet of snow a year.
He's talking about New York, not Greece.
Yeah, that's upstate New York, so...
You know, my little cousin once asked his father, said, Dad, where do fairies live? And John said, West Van.
Yeah.
You'd have to know Vancouver to know that. That's all right. You might get that one. Never mind.